Welcome to Alien Investigations, the show that investigates UFOs, alien phenomenon, and strange news around the world.
So in this episode, we're going to be talking about, of course, the solar eclipse that just passed on Monday on August 21st. I'm going to show you some live footage that I shot of that, and we're also going to talk about 33 interesting facts and predictions about the solar eclipse itself. And Paul, didn't I tell you to stay in the ship? Dude, get back in the ship. Excuse me. So in case you haven't heard yet, there are some sunspots now pointed at Earth. One of the spots are as big as Earth and is continually growing. And if you read here, this is the SDO, Solar Dynamics Observatory. And it says here a substantial corona hole rotated into position where it's facing the Earth. And this was in August 9th through 11, 2017. This is an actual picture of what the sun looks like right now, the sun now. And if you rotate through these slides, it'll just show you various different filters of what the sun looks like. Here is the actual image that I want to show you where you can kind of see the spots here, sunspots. And let me go ahead and click on this link here where it blows the picture up so you can kind of get a better idea of what they look like. So this little spot here is about the size of the Earth. And I'm going to show you a NASA render of various pictures put together that shows this rotating around and a little icon that shows the size of the Earth so you can see and compare the difference. I'm also going to show you some clips that I shot of the sun. And you can't see it this clear, but you can actually see the brown dots so that you can know that this is pretty accurate, right? So what exactly is the SDO HMI and how does it work? Well, pretty much in layman terms, it's a telescope. So HMI will observe the full solar disk, the sun, and with a resolution of 1 arc a second. So HMI consists of a refracting telescope, a polarization sector, an image stabilization system, a narrow band tunable filter, and two 4096 pixel CCD cameras with mechanical shutters and control electronics. And the continuous data rate is 55 millibits a second. So images are pretty much made in a sequence of turning and polarizations at a 4-second cadence for each camera. One camera is dedicated to a 45-second Doppler line of sight field sequence, while the other is a 90-second vector field sequence. So all of the images are downlinked for processing at the HMI AIA Joint Science Operations Center at Stanford University. So let me go ahead and show you those two clips now, one from NASA and one from my Sony HX400V. If you'd like to know more about my Sony HX400V camera, you can check out the video that I made of my UFO spotting gear to see more about that camera and what it features and whatnot. So let's check out the videos now. So this is the footage shot with my Sony HX400V, and I'm all the way zoomed in at 1200 ml. So you can see that the three dots are very visible, and to be able to see this with a normal camera, well, I would have to say that these spots are pretty dang big and substantial. Now, sunspots are darker, cooler areas on the sun, and these spots could cause some serious problems for Earth. On average, sunspots are 4,000 degrees cooler than the rest of the sun's surface, and they tend to appear in regions of intense magnetic activity. And when that energy is released, solar flares and huge storms erupt from sunspots. Experts say that the spots are big enough to cause huge solar flares that could affect us in a phenomenal way. It could cause radio blackouts, could knock out communication satellites, and create radiation storms here on Earth, which means that many places on Earth could experience power outages, lose cell phone service, and radio broadcasts. One of the upbeat things though about this is that it could create amazing auroras all over the globe. This happens when particles of the solar flare interact with the Earth's atmosphere, causing what is known as the Northern Lights. But you might not have to worry about this anytime soon, because a statement from NASA stated that it was too early to predict what the sunspots will do. But forecasters from the NOAA say that there's a 25% chance of M-class flares today, because the sunspots is directly facing our planet. However, on May 3, 2017, the sun ejected a solar flare that erupted from the bottom left side of the sun in this infrared video that you're seeing now. This was captured by weather experts based in Washington, D.C. So as you can see, it missed Earth on its flight path, but could have knocked out communications and navigation systems if we would have had a direct hit. Since this video covers the August 21st, 2017 eclipse, I found this very interesting article called the August 21st, 2017 Eclipse 33 Plus Fascinating Facts. And I'm going to mention just a few that I thought was very interesting, and I'll put the link for you in the description below so you guys can check it out for yourselves. Now, according to Space.com's Total Solar Eclipse 2017 guide, most total eclipses fall over water or unpopulated areas of the planet, so an eclipse that is visible is rare in itself. And since 1776, the August 21st eclipse will be the first total solar eclipse which path of totality stays completely in the United States. So, what else happened in 1776? Yep, you guessed it. July 4th, 1776, the United States of America was founded. First contact in the state of Oregon, the 33rd state in the USA. The last contact is in South Carolina on the 33rd parallel. This eclipse happens on day 233 of the year. If the Revelation 12th sign is valid, then the eclipse is also 33 days before September 23, 2017. Jesus is thought to have been 33 when he died. First big city the eclipse hits in Oregon is Salem. Salem was named after Jerusalem. The eclipse also begins in Oregon exactly at sunset time in Jerusalem. So technically speaking, as the sun sets in America, it would be setting in Jerusalem at the same time. The center line crosses 12 primary states to receive total darkness, 12 disciples, 12 months in a year. The meaning of 12, which is considered a perfect number, is that it symbolizes God's power and authority, as well as serving as a perfect governmental foundation. Remember that 1776 thing? The eclipse path is exactly 70 miles wide. 70 has a sacred meaning in the Bible that has two perfect numbers, 7 that represents perfection and 10 that represents completeness in God's law. 70 also symbolizes perfect spiritual order and a period of judgment. 70 is also specially connected with Jerusalem with so many references it would take a book to write. When Jesus died, there was an eclipse and an earthquake. It was now about noon and darkness came over the whole land until 3 in the afternoon. Luke 23:44 through 45. Now, when the centurion and they that were with him watching Jesus saw the earthquake and those things that were done, they feared greatly, saying, Truly, this was the Son of God. Matthew 27:54. Donald Trump was born on an eclipse. The path of August 21st, 2017 eclipse crosses every major earthquake fault line. Remember that note about 33 in the Richter scale? On August 23, 2017, there is a FEMA exercise known as Earth AX 2017, scheduled that will simulate catastrophes such as mega earthquakes, cyber terrorism, or high-altitude electromagnetic pulse attacks. Here is the eclipse path imposed on the USGS map of highest earthquake zones. Another eclipse comes in 2024, 7 years after August 21st, 2017, and marks an X over the United States. Now, this was not mentioned in the article, but if you look at this another way, the Bible says that when Jesus returns, you would see a cross in the sky. This could be symbolizing that cross that they're talking about in the sky, but over time. While everyone else is thinking and looking for an actual picture of the cross in the sky, rather it be through cloud formations or some other anomaly, which could just mislead many, so you never know. The combined time of totality of these eclipses together will be 7 minutes. The day of the eclipse is August 21st, 2017. 7 plus 7 plus 7 equals 21. The exact point where the two eclipses cross is right next to Cedar Lane in Illinois, specifically right next to Salem Road. There's Salem again. The region in southern half where the X marks in Illinois is called Little Egypt. The exact point where the two paths cross is in the town of Makanda, which used to be called the Star of Egypt. The sun is 400 times bigger and just so happens to be 400 times further away from the earth. The original form of the Hebrew letter Tav is like the English letter X or T, which is in the shape of a cross, or X, like the X that may be by the two solar eclipses on the cross's paths over 7 years. The letter Tav means a sign. The August 21st, 2017 eclipse also cuts through every major occult symbol in the United States, like the Georgia Guidestones, St. Louis Gateway Arches, and the founding state of the Masons, just to name a few. In fact, back in 2016, an independent cleaning consultant had been outside the Casino Queens during his break between 2:30 a.m. and 3 a.m. when he filmed the clip of a light that appeared over the St. Louis Gateway Arch. Here's a quick clip. And here's some surveillance footage from the Malcolm W. Martin Memorial Park. The longest known total solar eclipse lasted about 7 minutes. The US mainland has averaged about 7 total solar eclipses per century since 2000 BC. So the rarity of the August 21st, 2017 solar eclipse is not only considered a once-in-a-lifetime event, it will be a once-in-about 7 lifetimes event. To read the rest of all these 33 fascinating facts, check out the link in the description. Okay, now let's talk about something that you may have wondered about but may not have known the reason why this occurs. So if you went outside on Sunday the 20th, the day before the eclipse, and tried to find the moon in the sky, you might have thought something strange is happening because it was nowhere to be found. But the truth of the matter is, it was there but virtually invisible to the naked eye. To get a bird's eye view of this anomaly, let's go into Stellarium. Stellarium, for those of you who don't know, is a program that allows you to see where the stars and planets are in real time compared to your locations. Okay, so I'm in Stellarium right now, and a lot of you may be wondering, and I was wondering this myself, why the hell can't I see the moon the day before the eclipse? So today is Sunday, 8th the 20th, 2017, and so let's go ahead and take a look. So as I walk out of the back side of my house, of course this isn't my property, but this is where Stellarium shows basically an image, I guess, somewhere within my area. But so I'm facing north when I walk out the back of my house here, and if I come up straight up. The sun should be almost straight up. Right now it's 12:34 p.m. So I'm gonna... Okay, so there's the moon. So I'm just gonna select this right quick. Let me go ahead and choose my page down to zoom out. Okay, so as you can see, from the north position, get back around here. So I'm standing here looking straight up. So the moon should be on the left side of the sun. And if I zoom in on the moon here, let me center this up. So if I zoom in on the moon, even in stellarium, as you can see, it's cleared. You know, it's clear shaped. You can't see anything. And I was wondering why I couldn't see it even with the naked eye outside. And so I did a little research on that because I was curious myself. And right now I'm going to go ahead. Let's go outside right quick. I'm going to film with my Sony camera here, my HX400V. I made a video a while back on my UFO spotting gear. You can check that camera out if you want to know a little bit more about it. It has an incredible zoom range. But I just want to go outside and see. I'm going to film near the sun where the moon should be. And you can see for yourself, you cannot see the moon. The only time we're going to be able to see it is when it crosses the sun. And we'll be able to see the blackened moon. So let's go outside right now. And then we'll take some footage. And then we'll come back in here and I'll show it to you. Okay guys, so I'm facing south direction now. And I'm just going to scan the skies here. And there's the sun. So the moon should actually be right here somewheres. But what we're seeing here is just lens flares. I have a dark filter on, but of course it's not... doesn't do any justice when you're looking directly at the sun. So yeah, can't see the moon. And I'm gonna go back into the desktop and we'll talk about why. Okay, so here's the reason why we can't see the moon at this time. It's because the moon is actually in new moon phase, which means that only the dark night side of the moon is facing us, and there's no reflected sunlight that can reach the earth. Because of course the moon is now in between the earth and the sun. Now, as an observer, you can often see the moon during the daytime because a portion of the moon's sunlight surface is visible to us, and earthlings can see light that is reflected from the illuminated portion. However, during the eclipse, as the moon's invisible dark silhouette pauses in front of the sun, cutting larger and larger arcs across the sun's disk, you can definitely see the dark shape of the new moon. By the way, the shape that results when two circles overlap is called lune. During both lunar and solar eclipses, the shapes you see are lunes. And yet there's also another reason the moon seems invisible to the human eye. Yes, there is earth shine illuminating the face of the moon, and yes, the new moon's face is 150% brighter than even the brightest star in the sky, but the sun's corona is 10,000 times brighter than the new moon, and is located only a quarter of a degree from even the new moon's center. So your eyes may be sensitive enough to see something as bright as a new moon, but not if something 10,000 times brighter is that close to it. This applies not only to the full moon, but to the stars closest to the sun's limb itself, essentially for testing Einstein's relativity. To gather enough light to stand out against the brightness of the other objects is something that goes beyond what human eye can deliver. It may be dark during the eclipse, but darkness as we perceive it is relative. Our sun's corona during totality will become the brightest thing in the sky. And this is the reason the moon to human eyes will be completely invisible. Okay, so here's the moment you've been waiting for the actual footage that I shot of the August 21st, 2017 eclipse footage. And I was using two cameras, my Sony HX400V to shoot the eclipse and my Sony AX100 to shoot things happening around it. Now, it didn't really get dark enough to use my other camera to really show like it got dark. So what I did is I'm just going to leave that footage out. But I will show you some footage of my setup and how I put that together to get the best possible footage. I also did a Facebook Live right when the eclipse was at max position in my area, and I'll show you how I set that up as well. So let's go ahead and look at the camera setups that I had, and then I'll show you the solar eclipse footage. Okay, so I'm using a neutral density filter here. It's an ND8 Series 1. And basically I screwed it into my lens hood here. Okay, and so the next step is to screw this into the lens itself. Okay, so now we're ready. The only thing we need to do now is add our solar eclipse glasses. So basically, once I have it on my tripod outside, I'll extend the scope all the way, zoom in on the sun, put the solar eclipse glasses in front, then I can get a pretty good clear picture of it. So here's the setup. I taped the glasses up there with some green frog tape just to hold it in place. And this is my nephew. He wanted to film with us out there. We was laughing because his lens was fogged up. And this is the setup again. I had put mine in the little room that I discussed in one of my videos to defog the lenses. So I have the iPhone set up here pointing at the display so everybody can see this live on Facebook. Okay, so sit back and enjoy the clips that I shot.
Thanks for watching Alien Investigations. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe because there is more great stuff to come.
And always remember, guys, to have your phones and cameras ready because you never know when you'll see something strange or unexplainable. I'll see you right back here every Wednesday with fresh new episodes of Alien Investigations.
Hey, brother, watch another!